And today was Lamar Jackson's FU game. It was the FU to all the doubters, the naysayers, and he goes out and does it against a top-tier team. Destroys the Miami Dolphins by a score of 56-19. And all I could do is salute that brother. All I could do is salute that young brother. Throws 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions after being labeled not quarterbacky enough by a talking head, right? Only had 3 incompletions on the day. That's big time, y'all. Like, I promise y'all, Lamar is showing the world why he is the most valuable player. The man led the charge to beat the second best team in the AFC by a score of 56-19. You know what I mean? That's how you respond after getting criticized, for real. And what's crazy is he finished with a perfect QB passer rating. It's the 3rd one of his career. You got to salute that, man. Like, Mark Andrews was his best receiver, he's a tight end, but has been the best pass catcher on the team. He's been without Mark Andrews and still getting the job done. Still getting the job done, man. This is what I want people to recognize, and I said it in the previous video. Lamar Jackson is never going to be a guy who throws for 5,000 yards and 50 passing touchdowns, right? But when you look at the way he changes the game for his team, look at the problem he presents for a defense. They cannot contain him, okay? And when you're a guy who can do more than just pass, when you can use your legs, you're going to use them in order to get the first downs, in order to move the chains. If a guy is not open and the guy is well covered and all that, you're going to use your legs in order to move your football team downfield. Pocket passes, a lot of guys that throw for 50 touchdowns, a lot of them can't run. The only way they can be effective is to throw the ball. And so they're forced to do that in certain positions. Now, I'm not saying that throwing for 50 touchdowns is something to poo-poo at, because it's not easy to do. It's hard to do, okay? Throwing for 5,000 yards is extremely hard to do. So that always should be saluted. But Lamar Jackson is beneficial to his team in other ways than just being a traditional, just standing in the pocket passer, okay? And when I say that, you got to magnify, in order to assess how great Lamar Jackson is, look at the wins he's driven his teams to, right? Look at how Baltimore beat San Francisco on the road, the #1 team in the NFC, right? Look at how they beat Seattle, another team that has a chance to make the playoffs. Look at how they beat the Detroit Lions, okay? The 3rd seed in the NFC. Lions been playing great this whole year, okay? Now, I know they just lost, you know what I mean? But Lions been playing great all year. Lamar Jackson is really leading the charge, man. He's only 26 years old, and he's going to get better and better, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously. And I want people to think about this. His numbers could actually be higher. Gus Edwards has 13 touchdowns this season, right? 13 touchdowns, which is 1 less than Christian McCaffrey's 14. If the Ravens really wanted to, they can feed Lamar touchdowns every single time they get in the red zone. But Lamar wants the better for the team, so he's going to keep it simple. Give it to your running back, give it to the Gus bus, and let him run it into the end zone. You know what I mean? But his numbers could actually, especially the touchdowns and all that, could be higher. You know, a lot of the quarterbacks, they be throwing a ball in the red zone, throwing the ball right by the goal line. Just because, it's a quarterback-driven league now, and the running backs have been utilized less as the years have gone on. But what Lamar Jackson is doing, you can't scoff at that, y'all. Perfect QB rating, 5 TDs, no picks, 321 yards. Sensational. And they out here smoking teams, the teams that people think that they're going to lose to, that they're going to get demolished by. Because that's San Francisco 49ers. I hope I ain't say San Francisco Giants. San Francisco 49ers, a lot of the talking heads talking about how he was going to get ran out of the stadium, all of that. And you see Lamar Jackson on the road. Action Jackson leading them all the way. So I got to give it to the young brother, man. Without him, them teams don't win. The Baltimore Ravens do not win without him. They 13-3. I don't think nobody had them sitting at 13-3 to start the season. Now, I got to give credit to the defense. Roquan Smith, former Chicago Bear, leading the charge. I got to give all credit to that young brother, right? But I cannot dismiss what Lamar Jackson is out here doing. Seriously. I can't, man. I'm really happy for him, too. He's a really good kid. Good man. He's not a kid. He's a young man, but he's a man. You know what I mean? It's hard not to root for him. I'm rooting for Lamar now, man. It's hard not to root for him when you're seeing the way he presented himself, the way he go about it, man, he's still staying true to himself, even though he's the head of a football team, ahead of an organization. He's still presenting himself authentically. He's not trying to come out there and be something that he's not. Even in the press conferences, he's not trying to go and be, he's being true to himself. You still hear that Florida accent all through him, with the vernacular, all of that. You still see it. But he ain't disrespecting nobody. He ain't being obnoxious, but he's still being true to himself, which is something that a lot of young black kids can look up to and say, you know what? He's professional. He's poised. He's charismatic. He's exciting to watch, but at the same time, he's still being authentically true to himself. True to where he came from. True to his blackness, man. And I'm a fan of that, man. I'm a fan of young brothers that's true to their blackness, but at the same time, they ain't obnoxious and crazy wild. True to their blackness 100%. While being the head of a professional organization and leading them all the way through and through, man. And man, I'm marveling at it. So now Lamar Jackson stats. What is stats on the season? 3,678 yards passing, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. More importantly, the Baltimore Ravens is 13-3. 13-3. And how can you deny a team like that? When they 13-3, dog, and to see the teams they've been matched up against, and they smoking teams too. They ain't just barely getting by. They smoking teams. I mean, a win is a win, but they smoking teams, man. Lamar Jackson deserves all the praise and then some. Because today, young man, you were absolutely brilliant. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.